The most favorite memory for me was working with Eastman Chemical and establishing the Eastman Center for Nutrition Research in 1990. That's when we had the dedication ceremony. The labs were located in Building 119, and it was the only partnership with Eastman Chemical that had ever been formed between ETSU and Eastman at that time. In fact, bearing the Eastman name, there are only two other places that have the Eastman name, the Eastman Dental School in New York, as well as the Eastman School of Music. So when we established the Eastman Center, we were the third outside the Eastman family, if you will, to bear that name. So in working with them and research, traveling around the world for them, we had lots of medical students and residents that rotated through our lab. It was a meaningful partnership and collaboration.
One of my favorite memories for the last 4 decades has been that in the early 90s, we had a really nice and awesome basketball team. And my late husband and I really enjoyed going to the games. Well, during that year, it was the third year that they had actually won the Southern Conference. And they were going to go to the NCAA tournament. Well, the prior 2 years, we went to Knoxville and Nashville. So we were really excited that we would go someplace local. Well, it ended up being in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we were like, okay, forget that, we'll just watch it on TV. Well, there was a group that came together and said, let's charter a bus, let's go. So we got on the bus and headed towards Minneapolis, Minnesota. Once we got on the bus and we got into Wisconsin, there came a big snowstorm. They literally closed down the interstate. And we were sitting there on the interstate with all this snow. Our bus driver's like, no, these people paid for us to get them to the ball game. If we're going to get them to the game, we've got to go. So they got on the wrong side of the road and took off and went. And we got there in time for the game. We were not able to go to the hotel to check in, change clothes, nothing. We literally were on that bus for probably over 24 hours. Unfortunately, we lost the game by, I think, 3 points. But it was an awesome experience. We got a chance to meet with other people, faculty, staff, and local people too. And we just really enjoyed the time that we had being on the bus and getting to know people and just the basketball experience.
You know, we asked students who their favorite professor was or who made an impact on them as a staff member. Well, you know, we as staff, students affect us as well. They have impact on us. And I have truly enjoyed, over these 45 years, meeting freshmen and their parents or, first-year students when they come in for orientation, and then be able to follow them through the time they're here and then on into as they've gone into their careers. I love hearing their stories. 45 years I've been here, I'd say buildings have changed, buildings have been torn down, new buildings have been built, new areas, new facilities. Like I said, there's a city around has certainly changed. But the thing that hasn't changed, I don't think, is the caring for students and our faculty and staff who every day on this campus work with students and try to help students to be successful. And I see that every day. It's a great place to work, again, because of the people. I mean, I think our students, over the years, as I've looked at some of our other institutions and I've taken student groups to other colleges on conferences and things, I hear stories about other schools and other students and stuff, things that I didn't have to deal with as our students. And they're great to work with, and then to have the colleagues on the campus to work with. Again, it's about relationships and it's about people. And that's what makes ETSU. We say ETSU family. Well, we are, I think, and I see it every day. I hope that they can say that I gave my best. I was committed. I love this university. and I always will be blue and gold. On my little brick over on the sidewalk, it says Buccaneer forever, a Buck forever. And I will be a Buccaneer forever.
Well, you know, I came here and didn't know if I was going to be a square peg in a round hole. And there was a fish kill on the Holston River. And I'm going, well, I'm an air guy. I'm full of hot air, but I'm also an air researcher. And so you're not a good fit. But it turned out that there was coal in the region. It's a mixed bag. And there was a lot of bad air quality in the eastern part of the country in particular related to coal. So all of a sudden now, Tony DeLucia has a future, you might say. I write a grant for the American Lung Association. It gets funded. It puts me on the local board, the state board. I become, at the national level, the chairman of the board of the American Lung Association. That was the volunteer experience of all time. I feel like, you know, I've had an impact, and it goes back to really day one. Well, we are, to use the word change, the change agent in the region. And I think that's really cool because, you know, when I first moved here, there was a foundry across campus, across from campus. And I'm going, no. Let's have aesthetics, let's have beauty, let's have a plan. And so, sure enough, ETSU starts to be very progressive and starts to bring in things, not just in my area, the health sciences, but also in other areas which are closely related to what I call the big picture. So that's how it's changed, is that kind of thinking with our leadership is encouraged. ETSU has been the land of opportunity for me. It has been where I could, raise my sail and go with all the things that are providential for me, in that I needed to grow because I got to do administration for a year. I got to be the chairman of the Institutional Review Board for 6 years. I got to live out of a suitcase for 2 years being the chairman of the American Lung Association. I got to teach medical students and residents. But the main thing is I got an early dose of collaboration in the community. And so it's a great place for me and to be because it fostered those collaborations.